All right. Hey there, everybody. My name is Corey Jones, and I'm with Compassion Works for All here in Little Rock. If you're not familiar with us, we teach mindfulness and meditation programs for folks in jails and prisons, and we've been doing this work since about 2005. And you can find us online at compassionworksforall.org. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and just generally the places where you would go to look for something online. You could probably find us there. We do from time to time have volunteer trainings. Our next one is coming up next month in September. It's, I want to say like September 17th, something like that. It's on our website. So if you're ever interested in volunteering for us in either leading groups or helping out with some of our organizational things like surveys or correspondence, things like that, we would love to talk to you about that. So you can shoot us an email, send us a message on social media, whatever you would like to do for that. Glad that you're spending some time with us for this meditation time. We'll take about 20-25 minutes just to be together today to find some grounding, to be mindful of what's happening. I was just mentioning a couple minutes ago that our family this past week spent the week at the beach, just sort of wrapping up our summer with a little family vacation. And I realized I am a little crispy from that, looking at my face on the screen. But I loved being out in the ocean with my kids. I've always loved playing in the water. The sand of the beach isn't my favorite thing, but being out in the water, I absolutely love it. And watching my kids splash around in the waves and things was really fun. One day, a lifeguard rode up on a little four-wheeler and said, "Hey, just wanted to draw your attention to the fact that we're flying yellow flags today." And yellow flags means the waves are a little bigger, the undertow's a little stronger. And it was pretty cloudy. It had been kind of stormy. And the waves, sure enough, they were really, really big. And so we said, okay, we'll pay attention. We'll watch out. We won't go out too far. So we played around a little bit, but man, in those big waves, they can really wipe you out. I watched our younger kids. Big one would come in and they would just disappear. Like you couldn't see them. And then all of a sudden they'd pop up 3 or 4 feet away up at the shore, and would always end up laughing and then would think it was funny. I realized that the more I tried to kind of stand my ground and not get just toppled by the waves, the harder it was. The more tired I became, the more exhausted I was. And I found myself needing to just get out and take a break and then get back in for a little while and get back out and take a break. And my oldest son, though, he's 17 and he's a little taller than me. He's about an inch taller than me now. I noticed he just kept, he never went under. He was just sort of riding the waves, laughing, having a good time. And I kept saying, "How are you not getting wiped out by these things?" And he said, "Oh, I just pick up my feet." And whenever a big wave would come, he would just lift his feet up off the ground and the wave would just lift him up and put him back down. And he realized this, like, oh, if I pick up my feet, I don't get toppled by the wave. And I thought, man, there's all kinds of wisdom in that, especially for mindfulness and meditation. There's no matter what spiritual background you come from or no spiritual background at all, but in various spiritual traditions, there's all kinds of thoughts about this, about just the force that drives the universe, the force that drives life. You might call it the will of God. In Taoism, it's the Tao that drives things. Lots of examples and lots of illustrations about just this force that drives the universe, sort of like a force that makes waves in the ocean. And we try to resist things a lot. We try to kind of force our own like agenda. We try to make things around us how we want them to be, and they're not going that way. And so we feel this anxiety. And eventually we can start to feel like we're getting toppled constantly by one thing after another, the way that those waves would come in and topple us. But the wisdom is in just picking up your feet. And that doesn't mean laying down and doing nothing. It doesn't mean never being active or never being intentional with what we do, but recognizing that some things that are out of our control, it's much more helpful to pick up our feet and let the current go where it's going to go. I had a practical, I don't know, experience with this last night as we were flying back into town. We had some pretty rough weather coming in, and I'm still one of those people that gets really nervous on planes when there's turbulence. And so, man, it was a rough flight coming in. And I'm watching my kids, and they don't even care. They're kind of checked out, just doing whatever they want to do on the plane. And I actually physically picked up my feet. I just thought, okay, just lift your feet. And obviously that didn't do anything. It wasn't like the waves physically, but it did something to me mentally just by lifting my feet and sort of going with the bumps on the plane, recognizing that we're perfectly fine, we're perfectly safe. And that I didn't need to have this anxiety over something that's out of my control, because it's not like I can hop up into the cockpit and take control of the plane. It's not like I can make all the turbulence stop. I'm there on the plane. And so I kept just picking up my feet anytime it started to get a little rough. And it did, it settled me a little bit. It didn't change the turbulence. The turbulence was still there. It didn't change the feeling of being caught up in it, but it changed my inner response to it. And it gave me this sense of peace. It gave me this sense of ease and effortlessness, that I didn't have to struggle and fight. And the thing that I'll do in turbulence is I'll constantly look out the window, and that's my comfort. For some reason, I don't know why, but whenever I can see out the window, I'm like, oh, okay, it makes sense that there would be turbulence here. There's a cloud over there or something like that. It like puts my mind at ease, and I don't know why. But I stopped all that, and I just went with it. And I was calm, and I actually managed to get a book out and read for a little bit and enjoyed the last leg of our flight. So anyway, I don't know how that hits you or how that resonates with you. I don't know what it is that you're finding yourself butting up against in terms of just the force of how things move and the energy of how life moves. And maybe it's something that feels like it's toppling you all the time. And it might be time to just pick up your feet a little bit and to recognize there are some things that are just beyond our control. They're going to be what they're going to be. And the more we resist, the more exhausting life is going to be for us. So that's my thought for now. Let's go ahead and begin our meditation time together. And if you're in a chair, seated like I am, I invite you into a mindful posture. Posture is really important for meditation. I have my feet flat on the floor, my feet about hips width distance apart. You can fold your hands comfortably on your lap and let your shoulders relax. Go ahead and unclench your jaw and soften your facial muscles. Keep your forehead smooth. And you can keep your eyes open or closed, whatever is less distracting for you. And if your eyes are open, I invite you to angle your face downward slightly and let your eyes just fix on something without really looking at anything. Just let your gaze just settle somewhere. And in this mindful posture, we'll begin with 3 bells. Don't try to do anything fancy. Don't try to reach some kind of Zen place. And certainly don't try to block anything out or get to a place of absolute nothingness, because that's just not going to happen. Your mind is going to go. Your body is going to create sensations. There will be sounds and noises and distractions around you. And we can do very little about most of those things. And so we're going to metaphorically practice picking up our feet and just letting the present moment be what it is. And we do this by using our awareness, our attention. And so move your awareness for a moment to your body. Just check in with your physical self. Notice if you have sensations anywhere, tingling, tension, maybe an ache or a pain. And we're not going to react to those things, we're just going to notice them. Notice how it feels to be seated wherever you're sitting right now. Feel your sit bones where they make contact with your chair or with your cushion. And begin to feel a little bit heavy wherever you are. Not slouching and not becoming like jello. Maintaining an attentive posture, but just feel gravity as it's pulling you down physically into the present. Notice where your feet make contact with the floor, how it feels to be touching the ground, touching the earth. Bring your awareness to your belly, to your navel area. And let it be soft and relaxed. Bring your awareness to your neck and your shoulders. Notice if you're still clinging to any tension there. If there's anything else you need to let relax, to let loose. And now all at once, just bring your full awareness to your entire body as one organism, as one entity. Being aware of your body sitting in the room where you are and in the time that you're in. Effortlessly, happily present. And bring awareness, bring attention now to your breath. Just notice how you're breathing. Is your breathing shallow or is it deep? Do you notice a change whenever you start thinking about your breath? Does it become difficult to just let it happen? Does it start to feel a little clunky? And if so, that's okay, that happens. But just think about your breathing for a bit. As we inhale, we connect ourselves inwardly to the room around us that's outward. And as we exhale, we connect ourselves inwardly to the room around us that's outward. It's this continual cycle, taking what's outside and bringing it in, taking what's inside and sending it out. Because we are not just internal creatures, and we are not just external physical creatures. We are both. We are both our inward selves and our outward selves. We are how we perceive ourselves, and we are how other people perceive us. So inhale and exhale, softly, effortlessly, gently through the nose. Connecting what's inward with what's outward. And keep some awareness with your body still as you breathe. Make sure your shoulders don't start to hunch up or your neck starts to tense. Be aware of your breath. And be aware of letting your body be at ease. And finally, bring your attention now to your thoughts. Bring awareness to your awareness. Think about how you're thinking. And it might be that when you do this, you notice all the thoughts vanish now that they're being seen. But notice which direction your mind tends to drift. Do you tend to drift into the past, or do you tend to drift into the future? Our thoughts tend to follow the same pattern. We can break that pattern by being aware and being fully present in the moment, in the here and now. Keeping our mind present is perhaps the greatest way that we metaphorically lift our feet and go with whatever is happening as it's happening. And so continuing to maintain a mindful posture with your physical self, continuing to breathe gently and effortlessly. Hold your thoughts in the present. Be here. Be here with your breath. Be here with your body. Be here in a state of happiness joy, contentment. Let the sounds and the noises around you be exactly what they are. You don't have to fix your attention or your awareness on them. You don't have to have an emotional reaction to them. You can lift your feet and be present. And as we come to the end of our time together, bring your awareness into the present if it's drifted off. Maybe wiggle your fingers and toes a little. And together, let's take one final deep inhale through the nose and breathe out. Thank you for being with us today, everybody. I hope this was helpful and encouraging to you, and I especially hope that you find some ways to lift your feet, especially in those moments when things seem a little stressful or a little bit overwhelming. There's only so much we can control, and the more we obsess and fixate on the things we can't control, the more difficult and the more exhausting life can be. So I hope this was helpful for you today. Thanks for being with us.